Well, I've been staring at this engine cover for a week or so now, and I think I finally have a direction. I ended up cutting my weld in the center again, and it was flat across on the top. I gave her a little attitude, a little more shape in her. To do that, I left the very ends welded, the last half inch or so, and I just slid my cutoff wheel in the center, brought it back together, tack welded again, cut it again, pretty much a cut and butt. I did that 3 or 4 times till I had about 3/8 gap between, and pinching it back together and tack welding it up ensures that I'll have a good weld joint at the end, and I was able to TIG that pretty effortlessly, almost no filler at all. She keyholed on me a couple times and opened up, but it's a super thin material from the mid to late 60s. Since we didn't get a guess on the last video, that offer still stands. Whatever this top of this engine cover came from a classic car, a pretty popular one, I guess. But yeah, if you can guess what that came off of, send you a hat or a t-shirt, the first one to guess. Yeah, I got some nice shape into her now. And I'm gonna head outside and commandeer some more vintage tin. So you're probably wondering what the hell I'm doing with a 60 to 66 Chevy C10 door skin body line here. This is the second one here. I needed 2. I just spent about, probably an hour bumping this thing. Just like all these old Chevy truck doors, the door check breaks and the wind grabs them and they whip open and it caves in the side of the door here. Well, I needed all this length, so I had to fix that. You can kind of see the outside where it was pushed in. This was probably dropped down an inch. Got her bumped out. The body line back in line. But here's the direction we're going with this. I know why it took so long for me to come up with something, but I guess all good things take time. I'm pretty excited about this, the way it's coming together. If any of you know me personally or follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've got a strong affection for the 60 to 66 Chevy pickups. Well, after whittling on this small piece here to clear this throttle body for about an hour and getting that outside corner dialed into a miter, I couldn't help but thinking about like crown molding on a Victorian house, the outside corner on the baseboard molding, and I just couldn't unsee it, so sayonara. So I got this piece of TIG wire bent in here, and yeah, I'm liking the looks of this better. We'll see how this develops. I stole that shape from the old Studebaker hood up there. Evil laser coming in clutch again. I'm going to extend that body line here all the way up to the tip. You can see I'm hitting right on the point there. Got my pattern made for the top. So got that round bar sorted there. Just took my TIG rod, and I had magnets on the corners here holding this out because it's kind of sprung. I didn't pull that off until I had that made. Just kept bending it, heat and bend here, heat and bend here. I needed to extend the straight section out to get clear of that connector for the throttle body. Yeah, finally coming together. Once again, we've turned cardboard into steel. Got a really nice fit up going against my round bar. All the way around. Good fit up here. And I wheeled the whole thing again with my flattest anvil and English wheel, just to put a little shape in it. Just looks so flat and blah without doing that. So I got a little bit of crown going, and I bead rolled a rib in here, similar to what we have here. I went all in from here to here, and then when I got to this point, I backed the bead roller out slowly so the line kind of fades out. It kind of goes to about here, I guess. Yeah, time to get her welded in. Getting her now. This piece is a bit of a challenge. That body line lined right up. I wrapped her all the way around the front here. I think I need to shrink in this area a little bit yet to get that to curl under a little. Kind of a weird buckle going on there. Yeah. Same song, different verse, paper pattern. I cut my pattern a little bit short, so I had to add a little tape in here to extend my line. I scored the cardboard with a razor to get it to do what I wanted. I knew I was going to have to shrink. You can see where I shrunk on this top edge here. Yeah, you can see that. So I had to shrink around the top there to get it to come around that corner. Yeah, lots to do on this side yet. Here's the setup on the bead roller. Rubber lower wheel. And this is a 3/8. I made this die a while ago. I did this to do the wheel opening lip on this car around the bottom there. Somebody cut it out years ago. The half-inch one would have been better suited, but we'll use what's available. Well, after a great many hours of welding, grinding, more welding, more grinding, planishing, got this looking pretty good. Nice consistent corners. I may knock those down a little bit yet to radius them a bit more. It's pretty sharp. But I think there's one thing left to do here before we're done. Alright, here's what's gonna happen now. This is my test piece. I just took my 4.5-inch grinder and cut some slits in there. Wasn't very careful, but just to do a little test piece here, and pretty much achieved what I wanted. My dies on my bead roller were cutting into the steel, so I had to relieve these back some. I got them smoothed out, and yeah. Well, I got my gill louvers laid out here, and I just don't want to go ham with the 4.5 inch again and risk chewing this all up on the backside to get around the corner. And a big wheel uh, gets a little tail swing going, and you end up with a lot wider cut than you want going around a curve like that. So I got out the old whiz grinder arbor here, and I was just thinking about that. That's a Harbor Freight from way back in the day. It's a little more modern one, but I haven't purchased one of these 3-inch cutoff wheels in probably 5 or 6 years. And that's because I had an old Makita grinder die, and I took the arbor out of it and turned the end down in a lathe so it would fit into my 1/4-inch die grinder. And just so happens that's about the size that they become worthless in a 4.5 or 5-inch grinder. So I've got like a never-ending supply of those small wheels. I figured, well, that'd be a good product idea. And of course, if it's a good idea, somebody else probably already thought of it. So you can buy a 1/4-inch drive arbor that'll accept that size grinding wheel. I've seen them on Amazon or wherever. They're out there. Buy yourself one and save, well, negate ever having to buy a small wheel again. Well, I ran it through the bead roller and not getting near the definition from the beading die, mostly because this is in a reverse curve and this outer edge needs to stretch a whole bunch for get that to come up. And I'm having a hard time getting this thing into bead roller. I've got to pull this thing through the frame. I kind of got to force the thing through to get it through there. But I've been hammering and dollying on these two, and got in there with my welper pliers and try to tip that edge a little bit. I'm going to continue doing that here. It's going to take a lot of work to get it the way I want it, but I'm confident it'll be alright. We'll get there eventually. So I've been working this for about 15 minutes, and just realized I already said in the last clip there what needs to be done, and I wasn't doing it. So now I've got this door skin dolly jammed in there, but I'm really wailing on it now and getting this edge to stretch. Just because I had said it doesn't mean I realize that what needed to be done, but it's coming into shape now for sure. I'm ramming that in there and just beat the tar out of it here to get that edge to stretch out. Well, I've been beating the hell out of this thing for some time now. It's starting to submit. I realized I never showed you how this thing is mounted. So I've got the factory plastic cover mount back there, where your regular plastic cover would snap into. And I just welded some legs on there and a piece of 1/2-inch tubing. It snaps in there, and then a little ball stud clips on in the front. Well, those really aren't looking half bad. A little bit of sanding, and so the back of this one doesn't look quite as uniform as I'd like. And this here needs to be bent out a little bit yet. But all in all, she's shaping up. Well, after much deliberation, finally talked myself into putting it through the bead roller one more time. And I blew a little black guide coat on here so you can see it. It was so shiny that you couldn't tell what was what on camera, but yeah, after stretching this out a bunch here and running it again, it gave itself some material to get the bead pushed in there. In hindsight, maybe I should have pre-stretched this area with the English wheel. I don't know if that would have been the answer or not. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to try it on the opposite side before I bead roll it. I hate to make a big blister here and have to do a bunch of work to try and get rid of it. So I'll probably do the same thing again. Well, I couldn't help myself. I had to blow a little color on it. Could see what was going on. I think that's the best way to see where you got dents and stuff anyways, because they sure show if you got them. But, you can see there's a pretty good crease back there I need to address. That was there before. Little dent there, and on the bottom of every louver I need to planish out a bit. Alright, I think we're going to stop right here, and I think I need to pay some respect to some metalworkers and their channels. No particular order here, but I'm going to start with Rungy Cars. Chris Rungy, he hand builds cars out of aluminum. He leaves them raw. You can see all his work. With the louvers, it was actually his video that helped me work through that. He's the only one I found on YouTube that had produced louvers in that way without using a louver press. And thank you, Chris. Next is Lazzy Metal Shaping. He's got a ton of bead roller videos and show you what really is possible with just a bead roller, English wheel, and a shrink and stretcher. He doesn't panel bead at all. He does everything with those tools. And very informative videos really helped me out a lot. Ray Schlene's Pro Shaper Workshop. He also hand builds aluminum cars, coach builder, and he uses the panel beating method with the mallet, stump, all that stuff. Between all these guys, you'll see that there's a lot of different ways to achieve the same result. More than one way to skin a cat, for sure. Next on the list is Trev's blog. He's from across the pond, and he's got some really good videos on doing repair panels, building all his panels from scratch, and his work is just incredible. How tight and right everything he does comes together. Another mention here is Jerry Kirkpatrick. He helped me with when I was doing the English wheel, when I built that to get the dies, kind of how to build those. And he's got a bunch of really cool videos on building your own dies for the bead roller and using flat washers for beading and stuff like that. So definitely check him out. And Ron Fournier and Ron Covell. These are both a couple of metal shaper masterminds that I don't think there's anything either one of them can do. Ron Fournier passed away, I think, in 2017, but tell you what, he left a wealth of information for this world. And him and Ron both worked together quite a bit, a few projects, some collaborations. Definitely check both of those out. And the last, I've got 3 more on the list here, and these guys definitely know how to think out of the box, or outside of the box. And what I like to call pissing with the cock you got. Use what you got and make it work. Number 1 on this list is Bad Chad. I'm sure you've seen his show on the Discovery Channel, but he's transitioned over to pretty much just a YouTube channel, and they're doing videos every day. And at times I cringe what he's doing, but I tell you what, there's no one I've ever seen work faster. That's crazy. Another one is Outlaw Edge. He's got a lot of good quick tip videos as far as tools and whatnot. Check him out. And lastly, Fitzy's Fabrications. He really doesn't get into any metal shaping. If If he's got a complex part, he'll do it in pieces, in small chunks. But when he gets done, you'd never know. So yeah, thanks to all of you. I wouldn't have the first clue what to do with any of this stuff if it wasn't for those channels. And if I missed anybody you think should be on this list, leave her in the comments. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. The next one's probably going to be of my customer appreciation event here. Be a bunch of cool cars over here and past projects and maybe some new customers. Do the filler panel here before that takes place, and I'd really like to get these welds glassed in and get some paint on her. Look forward to that video, and thanks again to all the new subscribers. That's really awesome. I appreciate that. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.